This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Monday, December 23rd, 2019. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Late on Friday afternoon, the United States Naval Academy released a report about their investigation into the hand signals that were given by two midshipmen at the Army-Navy game last Saturday, December 14th. And after the investigation, which did include video footage, more than 24 interviews, review of text messages, background checks by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service and the FBI, it was determined that the two fourth-class midshipmen were participating in the game known as the Circle Game. In a statement released by Naval Academy Superintendent Vice Admiral Sean Buck, he said, "We are confident the hand gestures used were not intended to be racist in any way. However, we are disappointed by the immature behavior of the two fourth-class midshipmen, and their actions will be appropriately addressed." In the full report, they did recommend that the brigade be trained for proper behavior when in front of news camera and at large public events such as the Army-Navy game. So that puts that to rest, and not surprisingly, they reached similar conclusions up at West Point. And the Capitol is reporting that Alderwoman Ellie Tierney is introducing a bill in January based on a fire that happened on Duke of Gloucester Street earlier this month. She plans to introduce a bill that will mandate property owners on Main Street retrofit their buildings with sprinklers by the end of 2025. I do say good luck with that, Alderwoman Tierney. I do suspect there will be plenty of opposition because Main Street is 60% owned by only two businessmen. Also, I think it's a little bit discriminatory. Do buildings on other streets not burned? I mean, the one that did burn earlier this month was on Duke of Gloucester Street. It'll be interesting to follow this one through. Stay tuned. Hey, the Annapolis Maritime Museum is closing temporarily. They are going to be reconstructing a new permanent exhibit, and they're going to shut down on December 30th, and they do expect to be complete sometime in the spring of 2020. Caitlin Swain, who's the museum curator, said that our 2,500 square foot of space will be transformed from a static, sleepy exhibit into a dynamic, interactive space that feels alive. I think this exhibit will accomplish the balance between offering a truly exceptional experience for our visitors while retaining our sense of authenticity. Throughout the renovation, their park campus, which is the Ellen O. Moyer Nature Park over off of Edgewood Road, will remain open, and any events that are already scheduled, such as the Winter Lecture Series and the Oyster Roast and Sock Burning, are going to continue as planned. You can keep up to speed on that at amaritime.org. And you do want to make sure you get a chance to attend the Winter Lecture Series. Check out eyeonannapolis.net for a list of the topics that are coming up. It's a good one this year, and it's a great way to get out in the middle of winter. Hey, if you work for the state of Maryland, good news for you. Governor Larry Hogan is giving you another day off with pay. Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, is now a state holiday. In a statement released Friday afternoon, Governor Hogan said, "I am declaring Christmas Eve a state holiday this year to give our dedicated employees more time to spend with their families and loved ones. We hope that our hardworking state workers and all Marylanders have a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy holiday season." So, state workers, enjoy your extra day off. Some great news out of the Salvation Army in Annapolis, and this was first reported also by the Capitol, but an anonymous woman has dropped thousands of dollars worth of jewelry into a red kettle out at the festival at Riva. It did consist of a ring and two bracelets, and the one bracelet was a yellow and gold one made by Tiffany & Company, and that's already been sold for $1,500. The other ones are being evaluated right now to see what they may bring in. This does bring the Salvation Army much closer to their $120,000 annual goal. We only do have a couple more days till Christmas, so if you are out and about and you do see a red bell ringer, make sure you give them a little bit of something if you possibly can. And as we wrap up, I want to make sure you're aware of two podcasts that you probably should give a listen to. First, over on the Maryland Crabs, we spoke with Josh Barr, who's the Director of External Relations for the Military Bowl. We sat down at Heroes Pub last Thursday, and we had just discussed pretty much everything that's going on, from Miracle on Annapolis Street, to the Budweiser Clydesdales, to the parade, to the game, to the tailgate, pretty much everything that goes along with it. So you want to make sure you give that a listen over at the Maryland Crabs podcast, or you can go up to eyeonannapolis.net. We do have it reposted there as well. And finally, our Legacy Business Spotlight this weekend was a fun one. This was with none other than Hall of Famer Joe McGovern from Stan & Joe's. You want to make sure you give it a listen, and if you have not been to Stan & Joe's Riverside down in Galesville, that's where we did record it. You want to get down there. It's a really cool place to be. All right, that wraps it up for today. It is Monday. We have Ann Alsina with your Money Monday report. And, of course, we have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast. All that's coming up in just 1 minute.
Here's to the teacher who spends her weekend helping children who need a little extra attention. To the soldier who missed the birth of his baby while serving overseas. To the EMT working full-time and taking night classes. To the police officers and firefighters working long hours away from their families to keep our families safe. Here's to you, our hometown heroes. I'm Alan Hyatt, Chairman and President of Severn Bank, and we know there are many heroes among us, men and women who serve without expecting anything in return, which is why we're honored to offer our Hometown Heroes program to educators, law enforcement officers, firefighters, first responders, healthcare workers, and military personnel. Whether you're opening a checking account or buying a new home, we're here to give back to you. Learn more about our Hometown Heroes program at severnbank.com. Severn Bank, here with you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Monday, December 23rd. Yesterday was a nice finish to the weekend, and this entire week will more or less be a repeat, with plenty of sunshine throughout the week, no real chance for rain on any given day, and daily highs in the upper 40s to maybe lower mid-50s. So get your shopping done and plan on having a great holiday week ahead, whatever you celebrate, as one thing's a near certainty, there won't be any weather issues to have to deal with throughout the entire week. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching for DCMD VA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores, and also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and on our website at dmvweather.com, so you can always stay weather informed.
Hello, friends. This is Brian Griffiths from RedMaryland.com, inviting you to the 2020 RedMaryland.com Leadership Conference, Saturday, January the 11th, 2020 at the Doubletree Hotel in Annapolis. Confirmed speakers include Congressman Andy Harris, Commerce Secretary Kelly Schultz, Transportation Secretary Pete Ron, Senator J.B. Jennings, Senator Steve Hershey, Senator Justin Reedy, Delegate Nick Kipke, Delegate Kathy Shalega, Delegate Lauren Erican, WBAL Radio's Andrew Langer and Jerry Rogers, Maryland Federation of Republican Women President Diana Waterman, Maryland Young Republicans Chairman Maria Sophia, Lauren Bogley from the Maryland Right to Life, and so much more. Tickets are available at redmarylandconference.com. Sponsorship opportunities and vendor tables are also available. That's redmarylandconference.com. Don't miss out on your opportunity to attend the redmaryland.com Leadership Conference, Saturday, January the 11th in Annapolis. Once more, buy your tickets now at redmarylandconference.com.
Your money, managing and investing it can be confusing and sometimes scary. Here to help you put your financial picture into focus is Ann Alsina from CovingtonAlsina with your Monday Money Report.
This is Ann Alsina of CovingtonAlsina with your Monday Money Report. Both the Dow and S&P set new all-time highs again last week. On December 13th, the U.S. and China announced a Phase 1 trade agreement has been reached. Economic data from Europe has eased some concerns about their economy and global growth. The yield curve, which we explained on a previous edition of the Daily News Brief, has steepened, indicating a recession may be less likely in the near future. The markets have largely ignored the impeachment of President Trump by the House. The end of the year is a great time to consider your budget for the next year. I tend to think of a budget as being separate from managing cash flow. Budgets are more big picture, giving you an idea of what you can and can't afford, whereas cash flow is more like day-to-day life. When you develop a budget, start with your take-home pay. From there, consider housing costs, including utilities, homeowners or renters insurance, and especially ongoing maintenance and repairs if you're a homeowner. Having a car in your budget includes not just the payments, but also gas, insurance, and maintenance costs. If it's an older vehicle out of warranty, add some money to your budget for repairs. Food costs should include both groceries and dining out. If you have a pet, remember to include vet visits, food and treats, and boarding or a pet sitter if needed. Your savings should be included as part of your budget. Both retirement savings and an emergency fund are important. Starting with necessities and moving on to wants and nice-to-haves allows you to see where you can make changes and what you can afford. If your budget isn't adding up, look at where you can cut costs. Maybe you can cut the cord and eliminate cable. You stop subscriptions to things you don't really use. You can also plan to brown bag it most days, or invite friends over for pasta and a movie instead of a night out on the town. Many of us are fortunate enough that we don't really need to make a budget. We can cover our bills and still have money for our wants. Even so, building an emergency fund, setting aside money for travel, a second home, or potential opportunities can seem out of reach. A great way to start there is to direct deposit a small amount from each paycheck into a savings or money market account that you don't see when you check your bank account. Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't miss that first little bit in 3 months, increase it. Working up makes it easier to stick to the plan instead of starting high and realizing you're strapped for cash. Just like being mindful of physical things, such as our breathing or the food we are eating, being mindful about money can provide peace of mind. Running through the drive-thru doesn't seem like a big deal, but over the course of a year, it adds up. Being conscious of our spending can open up opportunities to save for our big wish list items. If you're interested in learning more, our calendar of educational events for 2020 is up on our website, www.CovingtonAlsina.com/events. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Great Valley Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Covington-Alsina and Great Valley Advisor Group are separate entities from LPL Financial. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions voiced in the show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial advisor or tax advisor prior to investing. And if you don't have a financial advisor, come talk to us. This is Ann Alsina with Covington-Alsina.
When a ring from the United States Naval Academy comes into Zachary's for a center stone, it always makes us wonder, where's this one going? Where's this one been? A nuclear sub in the North Atlantic? A carrier deck in the South Pacific? The moon? 52 astronauts are Academy graduates, from Iwo Jima to Okinawa, Corregidor to the Coral Sea, Midway to the Persian Gulf, Congress to the White House. These rings go where America goes. 73 that went to war were awarded the Medal of Honor. But wherever they go, wherever they may serve, our admiration goes with them.
Zachary's. Online at zacharysjewelers.com. More than a jewelry store, a jeweler.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.